Good morning to everyone. Since this is my first interaction on the forum of the GTU, so I'm here representing the OM Institute of Technology, which is one of the affiliated colleges of the GTU in Panchmahal district. So I have chosen to teach the students of the mathematics here in Gujarat the vectors, and probably the vector itself, the chapter is a very long chapter, and probably the vector looks very simple, but again the kind of questions that comes is again a complex way. So, and many students does fear from the vectors because it does have a lot of geometric diagrams and geometric interpretation as well. So probably because of that reasons this chapter becomes a complex chapter. Okay, but this is one of the very important aspect of the chapter. So probably I'm here to teach you, and probably I would give a series of lectures on these vectors. So I does hope that you have some elementary basics of the vectors that you have studied in the class 11th and 12th, right? So probably what I would be teaching you, you would be able to understand what the vector is all about. So let me start. And today, since there is a limitations of the time, so probably I won't be able to finish all those things which is prescribed in the GT syllabus probably, but in the series of the lectures that I will have here, probably we will go into more details of this chapter, that is vectors. So if I ask you what is vector, so probably you can define your way that according to the history, when there was a numerical arithmetic, that the numerical calculations and the numerical calculus got developed, right? So similarly, when any quantity is defined or dependent on more than one variable, or when we deal with dimensions and all, so that's a little bit of a notions of a vectors, but that not exactly a notion of the vectors, right? So probably what is vector then? So I think there is a very basic physics law that you all have studied, that when force is applied on an object, right, so it does goes in some direction, right? So obviously force is a vector quantity which is having a magnitude and direction as well. So, and the quantity which does not have a direction, that is a scalar. So these all are the elementary basics which you have studied in your fundamental classes, right? Okay, that's fine. So so what is then function then? Okay, so if I say you that this is a block diagram of a function which can be represented by this, and this is a vector, we know that, fine. So there is a huge definition of the function, right? That function is this and that, blah and blah, but how to understand the function in a very simple way? So the very simplest way to understand function is that function does act as like an operation, right? So it's like in a machine which does an operation, right? So we are dependent on this machine, and similarly we are dependent on the functions for many of the concepts in mathematics, right? So if I say that when we write this is y is equal to f of x, where, and since you know that x is an independent variable and y is a dependent variable, right? So all the inputs are called domain and all the outputs are called range. Okay, that's all. So what I want to say you, for example, this force is dependent on the positions either x or either xy or either xy and z, right? That's okay. But if I say that this function which is the force factor is also dependent on time, right? If you imagine that this is a block diagram, and if any vector, that is force vector, is acting on this one, so obviously this force is dependent on the positions, that is x, y and z, which we call as a 3-dimension, and there is a concept called 4th dimension, right? And that 4th dimension is what that is called when it is represented by this x, y, z and t, which means that the magnitude of the force changes from time to time, or you can say that the force also changes from different to different. If you calculate, if you see the macroscopic picture of the block diagram, then what you see and what you observe is that at each different points, if you see in the very intuitive way of understanding, or if you have a very little connection with the topology or with the geometrical interpretation, that at each point the force will be different and the magnitude of the force will be different. But in a general overview sense, we just represent the magnitude by this way and we get in a very absolute value, and that is what. But if you go more deeper and deeper, so force is a quantity which we have studied in physics. It is dependent on x, y, z and time as well. So ultimately, in a very short way, I can say that force becomes a quantity to be represented in a 4-dimensional way, right? And that's how the theory get developed, that is n-dimensional space, and when many quantities gets converted into n-dimensional space. But since according to the syllabus we don't need to go into that much detail, so we won't be going to details. But here I am writing something as a notation. So I would like to tell you, if this f vector x, which means that, what is this? This vector function is a function of a scalar variable which is x, right? Okay. And if I write this way, that this is f of x vector, so which which means that this f is a function of a vector variable, that is x vector, right? And if I write in this way, that is f vector and x vector, so I can say that this is a vector function of a vector variable, right? Okay, fine. And this is how a different notation or a different representation of a vector. So this was just a short introduction of the vector. So basically, in your syllabi or the curriculum, you will see many syllabus which is related to your G2 syllabus, where we say that what is directional derivative and what is derivative of a vector function with respect to scalar. So we will directly go to that chapter and we will directly start from there. Okay, so but imagine if you are studying a vector, then it is said that, and a very famous artist said that a picture is worth enough than the 1,000 words. So probably you can understand the meaning of the sentence, that if you draw more and more geometry, or if you draw more and more diagrams, you understand from there more. But that's that notion of understanding vectors is not completely right, because when there is an abstract theory where many vectors are used, you cannot imagine and you cannot visualize the diagrams, right? So probably those abstract theories understand only when you have an abstract concept of the vector calculus. Okay, so probably my first topic that I'm going to deal with here is derivative. So this is my first topic. So this is derivative of a vector function with respect to the scalar, right? So this is a very basic concept, that what do we mean by derivative of a vector function with respect to a scalar. Okay, for example, let this r vector, which is equal to this f vector t, which means that this function is a vector function of a scalar, that is time t. Okay, so let we are just supposing that let delta t be a small increment, in t, right? Okay, and delta r be the small increment in r, right? So I think you have studied in your elementary classes as well. And so what is then the corresponding increment then? So corresponding increment is nothing but this is, obviously we know that there's an increment in this vector, and this is equal to, and this is increment in this vector, that is equal to t plus delta t, right? So obviously if you want to find this small delta r, that is a small change in r, that is position vector of some point, so that is nothing but that is, obviously we can subtract this, and this is r vector, right? Okay, so this is one concept. And similarly we can now, since we need to find derivative, so what we can do is that we will apply the concept of the limit here. So we can say that is del r vector upon del t. This is not this is equal to, this is f vector and this is t plus delta t minus f vector t, right, divided by a small delta t, which is a change in the, and as I said you that we have to apply the limit concept, that if you apply the limit concept, that is LT, which is the denominator LT tends to 0, then we can also phrase this equation in this way, so which is nothing but this is f vector t divided by del t, and you can write limit del t tends to 0. Okay, fine. So this is the very you can say that this kind of formula of the calculus you have studied in your class 11th and 12th as well, and obviously, so here also the concept of the physics comes, like for example this delta r by delta t, or you can even say it this way. So if you don't consider that partial derivative with respect to t, so you can say, I can say this is nothing but this is change in the displacement, and that is what, this is a velocity, right, and this is a physical quantity which is having in a magnitude and direction as well. And if you want to have in a magnitude, so you can just represent this way, so that is this is magnitude of this velocity. And if you take second derivative of this factor, which means that if you derivate it second time, that is with respect to again time, so that will give you a quantity which is d square r vector upon dt square, which is what, this is acceleration, right? Okay, so I wanted to say you from here, just before we wrote this function, that is f vector, or you can say I just wrote just time before like this, or you can say this way. So this is a vector function of a vector variable, right? So I just wanted to define you, how many of you have thought about that this Newton's, the very famous Newton's law, that is F is equal to ma, does follow the notions of that vector function is a function of a vector variable. And if you see, this acceleration is a vector function, and it is having a magnitude and direction as well. So I can say this force is vector function of a vector variable, and that is acceleration. So from there we can also interpret this result. Okay, so this was the first thing which I told you, that what is how to represent the derivative of a function in the terms of the vector. Okay, so now we have derivative of a constant vector. So similarly, as in the calculus, you study that a derivative of a constant is a 0, right? So similarly, if anything is a what do you say, that is a constant vector. So suppose this r vector, which I am saying is this way, so this is f vector and t, then, and I'm just supposing this is a constant vector, right? So if you take the derivative of this constant vector, and that derivative is 0, we can prove this small result. We can prove this small result, that how this derivative of this function is 0. And similarly, if you draw this axis, that is x, y, and z, since we know this along all this there is a unit vector, that is I, j, and there is a unit vector, that is k cap, right? So all these unit vectors, if you take the derivative of all these unit vectors, so obviously that gives you 0 only, which I mean to say, that is if you take the derivative of di upon with respect to time, or with respect to any other variable which is dependent, so that is equal to always 0, and this is dz upon dt, and this is equal to dk upon dt. Okay, so these are the small results, and these are the small interpretation about the vector calculus, which you must have studied in your elementary schools and elementary classes. So I just wanted to recap all these things to you. So my next topic is derivative of a, so I am teaching you the next thing, that is derivative of a vector function, derivative of a vector function in terms of its components. So so you can easily guess from this word that is component. So if I take any position vector, so obviously it will have any component along either x-axis and y-axis and z-axis. So we will represent those components in a one you can say very suppose if I write this r vector, so obviously this can be represented by this that is xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap, right? So I can say this x, y and z are the components along those three axes. Okay, so and obviously this x, y and z, if it is a component, then obviously it is a scalar function of a t, right, which depends on the time and none other than the time. Okay, so what I'm saying you, what is a derivative of a vector function? The topic is a derivative of a vector function in terms of its component. So I have to derivate this delta r upon dt, that is a derivative of a vector function with respect to time. So I can easily write this way. So this is d upon dt and this is xi cap plus d upon dt and this is yj cap and this is d upon dt zk cap, right? So you know this these are the components. So and we will use the very beautiful result that we just saw before. So probably the chain rule that you have studied in your class 11, the UV rule, where you know that first u is a constant, we get differentiated, and then v is a constant and you get differentiated. So that's a very basic calculus rule you have studied. Okay, so if I keep this I out and I can write this is dx upon dt plus I can also say this is di upon dt, right? Okay, so similarly I can also say this is dy upon dt and this is plus this is and this is and the j cap is out here. So and here I can say this is dj cap upon dt, right? So you can I just told you that di upon dt and the unit, which are the unit vectors, and these all unit vectors are constant, right? So this is a differentiation of a constant vector, this is a differentiation of a constant vector. There will be another term which is z and this is dk vector upon dt and plus this will be k cap and this will be dz upon dt, right? Okay, so all this derivation of a constant vector, so this will be 0, right? And this will be 0 and this will be also 0 and this will be also 0. So we are just left with the